All right, and my colleague Jessica Taneja joins us live from newsroom for more updates. Hi, Jessica. A very good afternoon. 13th round of India-EU talks today. EU's top negotiators are here in India. What can we expect and what remains the focus, Jessica?
Well, this will be the fourth round of talks in the last 1 year and shows the kind of sense of urgency that has been attached to this India-EU FTA that has been in the works for decades now, and finally it's looking at a direction where things could be finalized. Of course, there are a lot of hurdles and a lot of discussions and deliberations still to be done on this, but it's important that to understand that this deal is being finalized on various other aspects, and most of which have been discussed yet. For example, there are more than 27 chapters that have to be fleshed out between the two in terms of what are the requirements of the both sides. Out of that, 11 chapters have been finalized. So in the next 1 year, when we're also waiting for the India-EU summit, which takes place, so a lot that could be understood at that time as well. Not to forget that the European Union is going to come out with its India vision document, a strategy that has envisioned for India, both in terms of economic and defense ties. So this 13th round of talks certainly will be important because it's seeing the likes of the trade representatives and the agriculture representatives here in New Delhi to speak with their Indian counterparts and look at the important aspects of the India-EU trade deal, which currently seem to be on the discussion points of origin of goods, as well as other trade and non-trade barriers that still continue to be in the discussion. Let's not forget that there is also the carbon border adjustment mechanism. It has been a contentious and a sticky point between the two. So one will have to wait and see as to what really comes out of this 13th round of talks and what all is achieved, which chapters are filled up.
Okay, Jessica, you just mentioned agriculture. Agriculture is a special focus for India, we all know, and Agriculture Commissioner Hansen is also here. What's in store for India as far as this sector is concerned?
Well, there's a lot that needs to be discussed in the agriculture sector, given India's sensitivities to it and the kind of employment generation and the market that it captures back home. So what we're given to understand so far is that when it comes to sugar as well as rice and dairy, these are very sensitive, and perhaps the Indian side has been able to ensure and to be able to tell their counterparts in the European Union that these particular sectors will have to be taken into consideration, and to an extent they have been agreed upon. But when it comes to the phytosanitary and other measures that the European Union wants to address, well, they are currently being looked into, at least in terms of the agriculture sector, which continues to remain sensitive, but discussions are ongoing on how to have a mutually beneficial deal.
Okay, Jessica, very quickly now, with EU being one of the largest trading partners of India, how will both India and EU likely to benefit with this deal?
Well, that's correct, and the fact that this negotiation comes at a time where there has been a lot of importance and emphasis made on the fact that India and the European Union need to conclude a free trade agreement before this year ends. You'd recall earlier in the year you had European Commissioner President Ursula von der Leyen with her 27 college commissioners visit Delhi, the largest delegation perhaps anywhere in the world that the EU would have sent. So given the kind of importance India holds in the current geo-economic sphere, and with the European Union already striking a deal with the United States, with India, it will be very important to see on what kind of negotiations lead to the outcomes that tend to keep the sensitivities of the Indian side in mind. For example, if you talk about the carbon border adjustment mechanism, if you go by the industry and the experts, some say that for one MSME, it would cost around 15 lakh rupees in terms of compliance for CBAM. So that's the cost that we'll have to incur unless the government steps in to support. So this is what the Indian government on its part is also trying to negotiate, that such mechanisms are not easy for countries like India, which are big exporters in certain sectors, and this kind of CBAM restrictions would limit the industry's output.
All right, this is developing. Jessica will keep taking updates from you on this, but as of now, we leave it there. Thank you.